Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Sydney, Australia. We are still here in Australia, still traveling around a little bit, but this week I kind of wanted to sit down and do a bit of a Q&A, like catch up, personal kind of chat, because it has now been over 3 months, I think, since I put everything into storage in the US and left to do a little bit of traveling. And we haven't really been able to catch up and touch base on how things have been going. I feel like recently in the videos, I just haven't really maybe been able to get as deep or as personal on things. And I kind of miss that. I want to be able to chat things through with you and let you in on how things are going, because it has been maybe a little bit up and down. So that's what we're gonna do today. I've got my matcha at the ready. I've been dying to crack this open. Where did my straw go? I did have a straw for it. Oh. Can you hear that? Oh, you need to go here. It's like ASMR. That just sounds like it's going to taste good. Oh my God, it's so good. The strawberry that they use in this is like strawberry jam or something. It tastes just like jam rather than like a weird syrupy strawberry flavor. It's so good. All right, let's get into the questions. So I have a lot of questions about leaving the US, how I'm feeling about going back, if I would move anywhere else, if anywhere else is on the cards, like the logistics of kind of doing what I'm doing at the moment. So in case you were not here for the whole story, I'll quickly catch you up to speed. But basically my rent in LA was just getting kind of insane, and we weren't able to find a new place that we really liked. So instead of signing for somewhere that we weren't absolutely obsessed with, instead we thought we'd use it as a good opportunity to do a bit of traveling whilst both myself and my husband are more flexible with our work, which again was another one of the questions, so we'll get into that in the video. It basically just kind of was right place, right time for us to put everything into a storage unit. So literally our entire life right now is sitting in a storage unit in LA, and we're here in Australia. The plan was to go overseas, visit some friends, visit some family, do a little traveling, go to some new places, and kind of just enjoy ourselves, really. Enjoy ourselves, enjoy our lives before eventually having to go back to the UK to do a bit of apartment hunting and get back on with our everyday lives. The first question is, how are you feeling in Australia after the Bali experience? So we started off this trip with Tokyo, which was amazing. Tokyo felt like we were on vacation. It felt like we were on holiday. We were just there for 2 weeks. We were bopping around different places. We kind of were treating it more like a holiday. We were staying in hotels. We were doing the touristy, doing the sightseeing things. Incredible. Loved it. Amazing. Absolutely obsessed with Japan. Would go back in a heartbeat. Was so much fun. We then went to Bali afterwards, which if you were not following along on, the Bali dramas, that was probably an opposite experience for us. Didn't enjoy it at all, really. Tried to give it our best go. I'm glad that we didn't leave Bali early to go somewhere else and really did stick it out, because I gave it my best shot. I could not have tried harder to try to like it. And I was there for a month and I was waiting for it to warm on me. I was trying to do different things to make myself enjoy it, and I just never really got there. So now I know okay, I did all that I could do and it just wasn't for me, and that's fine. If you want to know more about that, I have 2 videos just kind of going into all of the nitty-gritty of the specifics. And then we came to Australia, which is where we are now. Started off in Brisbane visiting my sister who lives there. She moved there maybe 8 months ago. So she's still new to Australia as well, but it was really fun to get to be there and see how her life has been since she's moved here. And then we came down to Sydney because she was running the Sydney Marathon. And now I would say I'm at the point in this kind of traveling experience where it's okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? Every single thing before this point kind of had a purpose. And I guess the last thing was my sister running the marathon. And now that that has sort of happened and she's gone back to her life in Brisbane and me and my husband are still in Sydney. Yeah, this past week, it's just been a bit of okay, what are we doing here? We're really, really enjoying Australia. Love it here. It's incredible. I don't have a bad thing to say about Australia. I'm really, really enjoying myself. But I think just being away from home now for 3 months, it's kind of to the point where it's I don't know, we almost feel like we want to kind of maybe get back on with our lives again, or like we're excited to go get back into work and get back into routines and get back into doing things. And that's nothing on Australia. Like, I absolutely have loved being here. I think it's just we're getting a bit homesick. I think that's really what it is. We're getting to the point in traveling where it's like, okay, we've been away from home for a long time now. What are we doing? Are we going back? Are we going somewhere else? Are we like just trying to enjoy ourselves? It's kind of hard to be like present in the moment right now and enjoying it when we have so much like uncertainty about what we're doing next. I think it's because we don't have a plan. We have no plan. As of literally right now, I'm like, I don't actually know what we're doing. I don't know when we're going back to LA. I don't know where we're going next. I don't know how long it's going to be. How long are we going to be here in Sydney? I have no idea. And I think that maybe making a bit more of a plan would help us kind of enjoy the moment a bit more, instead of just feeling this like up and down and uncertainty of like, what are we doing here? That goes into the next question, which is, would you ever live in Sydney? There's a couple of questions, about like moving to Australia and living in Australia. Would you ever consider moving there, or are you settled in the US? I will say I can 100% see why people move to Australia. Like, 100%. It's so obvious to me. Obviously, like, the weather is incredible, the lifestyle is incredible, everyone seems like so happy, everyone is like out and about enjoying themselves. The wellness culture, the fitness culture here, it seems amazing. Like, people are up early living their best lives, up early going out for runs, there's like people surfing, there's, I don't know, just it seems like a very, very active lifestyle here. And also, which has surprised me about being in Australia, it's like very like family orientated atmosphere as well. Even here in Sydney, which is like a major city, I don't know, I feel like in other major cities in the world, you just don't see as many children like out and about all the time, like babies, toddlers, like very young children that are just out and about like with their families, just like living life, enjoying life. And that's really, really cool to see. I think I could live in Sydney like very easily. I could see myself like fitting into the lifestyle, like no problem. But I don't necessarily feel like called to move here or called to live here. I think sometimes it's like a feeling, like it feels really nice here, but it just doesn't feel like my home, and I don't feel sort of drawn to make it my home. I also think that if I was going to live in Australia, it maybe would be for like a couple of years. And I just don't think I'm like at the stage in my life where I want to move somewhere or live somewhere just for a couple of years. I feel like this trip has kind of almost helped solidify that I want to like build a life for myself and like be somewhere and work towards like my goals and my future. And I just think I don't want to live somewhere for a couple of years. Like, if I'm going to live somewhere, it's because I want to like make a life for myself there. And I don't see myself doing that in Australia. Not that anything's wrong with Australia. It's beautiful. It's lovely. I think a lot of people should come here and build a life here, and you would be incredibly happy. But also saying that, my sister is now living here, and if she sees herself living here permanently for a long time, I'm sure I'm going to be back here a lot more often. Next question is, how are you feeling about going back to LA? I think I'm in two minds about it, but mostly it's positive. Like, mostly I'm really looking forward to going back. I'm looking forward to getting back into my routines, getting back to life, like getting on with things, just like getting back into more of like maybe like hustle mode, like locking in, working towards my future, working towards my goals. I think this trip has like really lit a fire within me to like work really hard so that I can have like incredible, nice things in life, and maybe like take my work a bit more seriously. I think I see a lot of potential in social media and what I'm doing online, that I'm kind of like inspired to go for it and like go after it and get at it. And I see myself doing that in LA. There's obviously a reason why I've lived there for the past 10 years. It truly is my home now. It's where I've made a life. It's where I feel comfortable and safe. It's what I'm familiar with. It's what I know. And LA is just so magical. I don't know, like, I know maybe a lot of people like don't like LA, and I completely understand that it like wouldn't be for everyone. But for me, it's like so inspiring to be there. It's so motivating to be there. It's energizing to be there. There's so much opportunity. There's so much going on. It's just an environment that I really think I do thrive in. But then the other side of that is I'm like worried that I'm kind of overly romanticizing all of the aspects of LA that I really like, because before I left for this trip, there was a lot of things that I was struggling with. I was feeling very low and depressed and stuck in my routines and stuck in my ways and like needing a change. I'm a little bit worried that I'll maybe go back and fall into the same kind of patterns, which I really don't want to do because I was not super happy. But I also think that this trip has helped me realize all the things that I do love about LA and all the things that I miss about LA and all the opportunity that is there for me if I put myself into the right environments. I think there are so many things that I'll take away from this trip that I will like implement into my day-to-day life that I'm really excited for, like things that have just like positively benefited me here. I would say a lot of those things are socializing, like making friends, putting myself out of my comfort zone, meeting people, having chats. Even if it's just like with random people, I think like I basically got into a bit of a habit in LA of like isolating myself a little bit and being afraid to like go out and make friends and do things. And that just like really was not good for me. Also, I've loved like walking everywhere and just being so active, but in a way that like being active is just part of your everyday life and just part of what you're doing. Since I've been in Australia, I don't feel like I ever have to like go out for a walk to like make myself feel good. Whereas I think a lot of the time in LA and in America, it's like, oh, I need to go for my daily walk so I don't drive myself stir crazy. Whereas it's just almost like part of life here that you are out and about and walking to different places that you don't necessarily feel like you have to make this like intentional time to be outside, I guess. But these are all things that are like very easy to do in LA. You just get stuck in your own ways. So if anything, this trip has been great because it's helped me like realize these things. And when I go back to LA, I'm going to implement all these things so I can just make the most of the place that I love living. I also am a little bit worried about going back and apartment hunting because obviously if you saw the apartment hunting videos before, you'll know it didn't go very well when we tried that before. So obviously I do have some like apprehension about that. Some nervousness that, you know, maybe we'll go back and we won't find the right place or whatever it is. My screen time, like the amount of time that I've spent on Zillow every single day is a little bit insane because I'm just like psychotically like trying to look for new places and like look for things that like places that we might want to live. I think at the beginning of the trip, it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind, don't need to think about that, don't need to worry about that yet. Now we're getting to the point of the trip where it's like, okay, we probably should start thinking about that and at least like looking at what is available out there. I've got my fingers crossed that like everything, the timing of everything is just going to work out perfectly and try not to be too worried about it. But obviously that is on my mind. The next couple of questions are a bit more about like the logistics of leaving the country doing a trip like this. Are you working remotely while traveling? Yes, I'm still able to work. I'm still able to make an income through social media, which is my full-time job. It has been my full-time job for a number of years now. I will say that I thought that kind of everything would just be like normal, like it would all be the same in terms of like the work opportunities that I would be able to get while I was away. But actually I have had to turn down quite a few opportunities because I haven't been in the country, because I haven't been in the US. A lot of my work is through product-based brands and businesses. So if I'm working with a brand to create ads for them, social media content for them, they need to be able to send me the product. So a couple of different opportunities I haven't been able to do because they can't send me the product here. So I have still been able to work, but it probably just hasn't been like as much as what I would be doing if I was back home. What is your husband's job? So my husband is currently not working. He has been on a sabbatical for maybe like a year and a half now at this point. That was a decision that we had made together a long time ago now. He had worked like pretty much non-stop for a number of years, just no days off, like working all the time, working on any days off that he did have, any time off, any vacation that we had, he was like still constantly working. Because he worked in sales, so it was like based on commission where you need to be kind of like accessible to people at all times. And that was really good for the time being that he was doing that. But it just got to the point where like he really had not had any rest and was getting really, really burnt out from it. So decided to take a period of time off work. He's still in that time now. I would say it has been longer than we intended to in the beginning. Originally, it was going to be for a year. It's now gone past that. But that's something that we've kind of like worked out and figured out together. and also was another reason why we wanted to do this trip, because we were like, okay, well, we wouldn't have the opportunity to be able to do that while he was working or when he goes back to work, because he's always sort of worked like a more traditional job, whereas I've been the more like entrepreneurial side of things, or just had a lot more freedom than he's ever had through work. So while we were both in this position where we have the freedom, it kind of was like the right time to do it. But we're getting to the point now where, like I said earlier, like we're kind of just both ready to like lock in, crack down, like get on with things. He's ready to go back to work. I'm ready to like start working harder and like taking things more seriously. And we're just both on the same page with wanting to build an incredible lives for ourselves. So this feels like a fun, like in between thing that we're doing right now. And we're so lucky to have had the opportunity to travel and go to so many different incredible places. But it is harder to work when you are traveling and doing things like this, and it's harder to maintain that income. So we're looking forward to getting back into the hustle a little bit. Where do you do laundry when traveling so much? This is actually a really easy answer. We basically just try to book Airbnbs that have a washing machine, so that has laundry, so we can just do it ourselves. The only place we didn't do laundry ourselves was in Bali, but it was quite easy to, they have like wash and dry services where you can drop off a bag of clothes and they will wash it for you and return it all nicely like ironed and folded and everything. And to be honest, that's like way easier than us doing it ourselves. But generally, yeah, we'll just book Airbnbs that have washing facilities. Visa requirements and health insurance. Because we haven't been trying to like find work in any of these places that we've gone to, we haven't needed to do a work visa anywhere. So we've just been doing simple tourist visas, which are easy to get. Every country has a different like rules, but for the most part, you sort of just apply for a tourist visa, pay the fee, and you're able to get that. And that will let you stay in a country for like a couple of months, a couple of weeks, something like that. Obviously, you're going to go through a lot more hoops if you're trying to get a work visa somewhere, but that's not like the intention of what we're doing. Health insurance, you can get travel health insurance. Again, every country is going to be different with that. And there's lots of like different packages that you can get that will cover multiple different countries, just depending on where you're going. I'm not like fully sure how like the health system and stuff works in lots of different countries. So it's kind of nice just to have health insurance so that you don't have to worry about it. But I also think that a lot of this, like a lot of like worry comes from maybe people in the US who like, if you don't have health insurance and something happens to you, you could be entirely bankrupt for like the rest of your life. And it's just not the same case with going to other countries. But there are lots of different travel health insurances that you can get. Organizing finances and logistics, including mail. Oh my God, the mail situation, I actually didn't realize was going to be an issue. I've been able to resolve it now, so I have a solution for you. I didn't like think that I would need a mailing address or anything like that. We got a PO box because obviously we've put all of our stuff into storage, so we don't actually have like a home address anymore. I didn't realize that when we moved out of our address, they must notify like the banks or the tax systems, or I don't know, they notify the people that need to be notified, because then on everything in all of our banks, like any kind of like official paperwork, we'd be getting through emails that says like, you need to update your address. We've been notified that you don't live here anymore. You need to have a new address, all of this stuff. For the most part, we have been able to use our PO box address or just like a friend's address. But I kind of was having an issue of, because my work, I get sent a lot of product and packages. Basically, I didn't have anywhere for those to go. I think at the time I thought, oh, well, I'll just like put a pause on all of that. But then I would start to get through like a lot of incredible like gifting requests. And basically a PO box, well, the ones in LA anyway, were only going to hold your packages for 30 days. And then after that, it was like, it could be up to like $3 a day per package. Like that is going to add up incredibly quickly. Thankfully, someone slipped into my DMs and gave me the perfect solution. So I've actually been using this company, which I guess is designed for people who are maybe in the Marines or like working overseas and need a sort of mailing address in the US. It's called like St. Brendan's Isle or something. Anyway, it's this company that works out of Florida that essentially will hold all your packages for you, and they just work as like a, I don't know, it's just like a service that they offer. And they only charge 10 cents per day after the 30 days. I'm like, okay, that's a lot better than the $3. Like the 10 cents per day it might rack up a little bit, but it's going to be like nowhere near that. And then basically I've just been having packages and mail sent there. And then when I get back to the US, they will forward everything to me to whatever address I sent them. Ideally, I would have just used a friend's address, but I was getting sent quite a lot of packages and I don't really have any friends that have the space or the capacity or the time to be storing my like 1,000,001 packages. Is there anything you regret putting into storage and not bringing with you, or vice versa? Honestly, I would say no. There's nothing that I have thought about that I thought, oh, I really wish I had that. To be honest, I think I've kind of forgotten probably about half the stuff that I have in storage. I think we'll go back to the storage unit and there'll be things it's like, oh, I totally forgot that I even have this, that I even own this. And I think that when we go back, I'll definitely want to like do a big declutter, because I think if there's things in there that I'm not missing while I'm away, like why do I even have them? Like I must just have so much stuff that I don't even realize that I clearly don't need on a day-to-day basis. So I'm looking forward to like having a bit of a clear out when I go back. But the main thing that I maybe like regret about the storage, not that it's a regret, but basically more of like an inconvenience, is that when we eventually do go back to LA, the way they just configured the storage unit, all of our like personal stuff is like at the back and all of the big furniture pieces are at the front. So we're not going to be able to access that stuff. Like there's just no way we're going to be able to pull out all of our furniture to get to like one box in the back. So when we're back in America, we're kind of still going to be living out of our suitcase for a little bit, which I think would be maybe a little bit inconvenient, just until we find somewhere. Like we're not really going to be able to open any of those boxes again until we sign for a new apartment lease and move in. And maybe the biggest like vice versa thing would be, I kind of wish I left like more space in my suitcase to kind of buy things and pick things up along the way. Like it's nice to get like little souvenirs and like have room for things in your suitcase. I just really hadn't, I like packed it to the brim. So I just really haven't had room to like add anything else to it. Especially in Japan. Oh my God, Japan had like such incredible shopping and there was like so many good things that I wanted to buy, but couldn't because I just didn't have the room for it, and also wasn't prepared to just like carry around stuff for months on end. Lots of questions about, does going back to England ever cross your mind? Would you ever consider moving back to the UK? Would you ever come back to the UK? I'm not gonna lie, I can't sit here and lie and say it doesn't cross my mind. I think absolutely it does. I think a lot of things like cross my mind, and even going on this trip and coming to Australia, it crossed my mind that, oh, maybe I might like Australia and I might want to live there. Like, of course, like you think these different things, but it doesn't mean that I necessarily want to move back to the UK or that I would move back to the UK. I think that the longer and longer that I'm in the US, the more and more that just becomes my home, and the less and less likely it is that I would move back to the UK. I just feel so much more removed from the UK. I moved to the US when I was 21. I'm now 33. So I haven't lived there like my entire adult life. And every time I go back to the UK, as sad as it is, it just feels less and less like my home. And I honestly feel really bad for like my family and my friends that live there, that I feel like they never really get to see like the best side of me or the best version of me, because I just don't feel like the best version of myself in the UK. I never feel like my truest, like happiest, like most energized person. Like, I don't know. I have a complicated relationship with going back to the UK because of that. Because I want to go back and I want to visit my friends and my family and I want to like have a great time whenever I'm there. But just the reality of it is I never fully feel like myself. I feel quite like drained whenever I'm in the UK. I think at the moment this is like a big topic, especially within the US, with lots of people not wanting to be in the US right now and like wanting to go away and move to different places and like considering that as a very real option. And I can't lie and say like I haven't thought of that as an option too. Like I definitely have. But I think that when I sit down and I really think about my lifestyle and my day-to-day life and the things I like to do and the environment that I like to be in and what makes me feel like the best version of myself, that is my life in LA, and that is my life in the US. I never say never, and I never say never to anywhere. I think I'm open to like wherever life wants to take me, but I am just always drawn back to LA. So I am excited to go back there. But that will take me on to the last question, which is any new destination in mind? So there is one more place that we would like to visit before we end up heading back to LA, and that is New Zealand, because one of my best friend from LA, decided to very inconveniently leave LA and move to New Zealand. And I think that while I am here, while I'm this side of the world, I might as well pop over to New Zealand, spend some time with her before heading back to America. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this week's video. I feel like there probably is so much more that I could have talked about and like gone more in depth on like different feelings on situations, but hopefully that kind of like gets you up to speed, like touches bases on a few different aspects, a few different things that I've been thinking recently. And we'll get back to some regularly scheduled programming next week. We'll get back into the vlogs, which I love creating. If you love watching them, then make sure to subscribe so that you can see more of that. I'm looking forward to sharing a bit more of the travels here in Australia and then in New Zealand before eventually going back to the US and starting the apartment hunting journey. Wish me luck on that one. But thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.